All right, when Dan Savage says jump, we jump. So we wanted to make a video for the It Gets Better project, which we think is a really good idea. My name's Ben. This is my husband, Chris. And we just wanted to talk to you a little bit about our lives. So maybe it would be a reference for you in your life.
So we thought that we could be a little brave here and put ourselves out on the internet because you guys out there who are really struggling, you guys and girls, I should say, or people who are in transition, the whole gamut of people, like it can be really hard. And we just want to go and share a couple of our little stories about high school for us and how we met. My thing in high school was I was able to mask my identity loosely. I mean, I think everyone I knew, thought I was gay and knew I was gay. I knew I was gay, but I somehow was able to go and convince myself that it wasn't really true, and it was a period where there was a lot of denial on my part. And for those of you who are really struggling, who are being bullied, who are already out, like, the integrity that you get to live your lives with these days is it's a blessing in disguise. Like, everything you're going through, it really is going to make you such a strong, dignified, amazing individual. And I can't say enough that you will definitely have a much better life because of it.
When I was in high school, I didn't so much get picked on. It was a really small town. I don't think any of them knew I was gay, but I was probably pretty good at hiding it. And that was my official plan for my whole life, was just to hide it. I had no frame of reference for any kind of future. I didn't know any gay people, and so my goal, my plan, was to just never come out, to live alone my whole life and just kind of squeak by under the radar for a lifetime. And then I went to college.
I went to the same college as this guy. We actually had a couple of classes together, and I would raise my hand, I would participate, I would read the books that we were supposed to read, and this guy would draw Ninja Turtles all day long. And I thought to myself, like, look at this punk squandering his education. And
While I thought, he's way too talkative.
Yeah.
He participates too much. Yeah. We had our first date at the movies after we connected on Friendster after graduation. So, a year or two after I thought he was too talkative. But he was really cute, so I thought it was worth another try.
I had this hat that I really liked. It was one of those Fargo hats, the one that has a little thing on the top and the little flaps. And I came into the movie theater and I was wearing it, and I thought I was being so cool, like flapping my head around like a beagle. This guy wasn't having any of it. He wasn't a sexy hat.
So we went to the movies, and then we went to dinner, I guess, or dessert. Then after dinner we hung out, and how long did our first date last? Days?
32 hours or something like that.
Technically, I think it's still going 7 years later. We've been together 7 years now. Married for 3 years. 3 years.
That's like 21 years in straight years. So we went to Brattleboro, Vermont, and we went hiking on this mountain. And I remember I got up to the top of the mountain, and it was just us, and it was in the state park, and there was really nothing around for miles. Like, you could see the horizon on all sides of the mountain. And it kind of struck me that, we could see Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, And it was a nice feeling knowing that no matter where the horizon touched, we were just like everyone else. We were a married couple. We had all the same, privileges and responsibilities. And, one thing that is really kind of amazing too is that we looked around and there was a whole bunch of small towns, like the small towns that are so terrible to so many teenagers and middle schoolers and preteens that are having such a hard time, that there are small towns in America where it's okay to be gay. And it wasn't always that way, and things are just moving forward. It was very hopeful. I felt very hopeful that things are so much different. And as Ben was saying, I never thought I would ever grow up and be married. And here I am. And who would have thought, right? Who would have thought?
You have no idea what can happen in your life and how things can change. And, as bleak or as hard as things might seem now, high school sucks. It sucks for everybody, even if they won't admit it. And then it's over. Then you're out. You can get out. Your life becomes your own. You can go where you want and hang out with who you want and date who you want, and people will want to get to know you. So tough it out. If I could go back in time and tell myself how my life was going to turn out or how things would be for me just 10 years later, I would have laughed in my face and said, "You're crazy. No way will there be gay marriage. No way will you find somebody who wants to be with you. No way will you get married." And, I was lucky enough that has all come true. And, it's because we hung in there that we get to experience that. So hang in there. It gets better, and it'll get better for you.
Aww.
Okay,